everybody. Happy Wednesday. Again, this week we are trying something different with our programming of our episodes. This week's City Talk, we're here right before our City Council meeting for the week, which City Council meets at 6 p.m. and I'm going to drop a YouTube link for you guys to watch that live. But that's later on. Right now we're having too much fun. So we are so honored to have Miss Tara Packer from the Lighthouse today.
Woohoo!
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I feel very blessed and honored to be invited. Thanks.
Of course. Well, the Lighthouse has been doing so much lately, and you just celebrated your 5th year.
Correct.
Birthday?
Yes.
So that's so exciting, and the amazing things that's happening, moving throughout the community. So before we dive right in, go ahead and tell us who you are, what you do, and a fun fact about yourself.
So I'm Tara Packer, and I've been here 43 years. Mm-hmm. And I was the founder of the Lighthouse, which is a prayer house in town. And a fun fact is I went to prison 25 years ago.
What?
Yeah.
Tell me more. As much as you want, or how it led you to where you're at today.
Well, it's interesting because I would never have thought or dreamed I'd be getting to do what I get to do today.
And you are living life to the fullest.
I am living life to the fullest. In fact, you know that emoticon where it's like, do you know what I'm talking about? Yes. That's how I feel every single day. That God truly blows my mind every day with all that I get to do and we get to do as the Lighthouse, and to serve the community like we get to do it. And, I was raised here pretty much 43 years in this town, and there was just a lot of things that happened growing up, and, blended families and different things. And I was an addict for 10 years and went in and out of rehabs and a couple mental hospitals. And I just knew 25 years ago, I was like, God, if you don't move me out of this town, I'm going to end up dead or in prison. And Perry Patterson was the DA at the time, and I was sent to prison, all drug related, and went to fire camp for 8 months of my 13-month sentence. And it was the best thing that ever could have happened to me.
Fire camp, like fighting fires.
Fighting fires. God literally put me through the fire. And that's where my life transformed. I literally surrendered everything that I had and forgave every person who had ever hurt me along my life. Mm-hmm. And I was all in. I was all in for him. And I have 2 beautiful children, 2 amazing, beautiful grand blessings. And I became, wanted to be the best mom that I could possibly be for them. And I thanked Perry Patterson. I said, thank you for sending me to prison. It was the best thing you ever could have done for my life. And that's a fun fact.
Yeah, that is. I thought you were literally just going to be like, I like hiking.
I do love hiking. I love hiking, and I love the mountains. In fact, at fire camp, that's another fun fact. I was actually in prison with all of Charlie Manson women. Patricia Kerwinkle and Susan Adkins.
A stone's throw away for us over in Trona.
Yeah. Patricia Kerwinkle was my fire camp trainer for 6 weeks. And so I worked literally side by side with her. And then I went and fought fires for 8 months and came home. And
I feel like my fun fact now dwindled.
Oh.
No, it didn't, because little known fun fact is this coming Saturday on the 7th is National Lighthouse Day.
Wow. I love that. I love that it's on the 7th, because 7 is the number of completion. And I love 7 is going to heaven, and it's great.
So I thought that was really cool when I was looking at that, like national days and things like that. I was like, oh, Lighthouse Day.
So fun.
So I guess let's dive right on in.
Absolutely.
So what is the Lighthouse for those who don't know, and how did it come to be?
So I've worked at the hospital for 20 years. I worked as a pharmacy technician, which is also a fun fact.
Okay.
God has a great sense of humor. Take an addict and put her in a pharmacy.
Hey.
It was, a movie called The War Room came out in 2015, and it launched my life. It was a movie about prayer and a marriage, and it saved a marriage. And after that movie, I just began to have my own war room, which is the name of the movie, which was a prayer room. And I took my daughter's room, made it into a little prayer safe little place where I prayed and read the word and sang, and then I prayer walked the city. And 9 months later, I hear the Lord say, I want you to open a prayer house for Ridgecrest. And I'm like, how does that look? I have no money and I have no building. And he just pretty much told me if I trusted him and was obedient, he would bring everyone and everything I needed. They'd come from the highways and the byways. Ridgecrest would be a city of refuge, restoration, and healing. And Ridgecrest would be on the map. And 3 years later, we had the earthquakes.
I mean,
and Ridgecrest was on the map. So
that's very true.
Yeah.
So, and that was what, 2 years ago?
Is it 2 years ago?
2 years now. So, and where did you start? Where did the Lighthouse first?
So
Brick and mortar,
we're
I
at
guess.
259 North Balsam.
Okay.
And the way it started is I launched a vision of what God had put on my heart. And we had many people from many denominations, and it was just really a prayer house. And we would just pray hour by hour, however many people we had for those time slots, an hour at a time,
Okay.
striving for unity 1 hour at a time. The Lighthouse definitely believes one God, one body, and they will know we are Christians by our love. And so when we were at that place, after about 9 months, the lady that owned Bread of Life, Pat Ryan, came down and said, why don't you move into this building? Because I'm retiring. So I know she threw a bone to us, and we went down and checked out the building. We ended up also hosting a little store to provide for the people. And it's all volunteer. So we did the store, and it's really evolved into so much more
Yeah.
in the 5 years.
Yes, definitely. We're going to get into that too. And seeing the growth that's happened and expanded, even like over the last year, it's just amazing to witness to that.
Definitely.
So, speaking of that, what resources does the Lighthouse offer the community and is open not like to Ridgecrest, to Inyakern? Like, where do the walls go?
Wow, that's a loaded question.
I know. I guess that's a twofer part. So,
Yeah, so we provide a lot for the homeless. We have homeless bags that we give. They just come in and have a cool or warm spot to sit, and there's somebody there to pray with them if they'd like. There's never any pressure, but we feed them. We're very blessed to have Charlie's Sub Sandwiches. They've donated cards to us, so we give them a bag plus a sandwich card so they can have a warm sandwich.
okay.
And those that are in need of groceries, there's no requirement or screening, if you will, but there
Okay.
may be seniors that just don't make it. There may be families that just don't make it. So we have a food pantry that we give to many families and
Oh, that's awesome.
people. In fact, when COVID hit, we joined with CityServe in Bakersfield, and we were able to, we originally went and picked up twice 2 pallets of food. Well, they
Food
said,
boxes.
Yes.
Yes.
And they said if we had 10 churches that could come together, they would bring a semi truck to us. So we had about 1,800 boxes of food delivered weekly for a good 8 months, I'd say.
I was actually very honored to be able to be a part of that.
So much fun.
It's a lot of work. And let me tell you, it felt like, when you're swimming and you're wading in water and then the next day everything just hurts. Loading boxes and unloading boxes hurt.
Yeah.
But it was so amazing just to see. And they would go so fast.
So rewarding.
So it was just phenomenal.
And each church would get, 100 boxes or allotted whatever they would ask. And not only did they come pick it up from separate churches, but we would also go into neighborhoods and just freely knock on doors and see if there was a need.
Because at that time, a lot of people were still at home, like
Correct.
shelter at home, or maybe don't have the resources to know. I know that was a lot of social media outreach and word of mouth.
Yes.
And, unfortunately, due to the pandemic, you were stuck inside.
Right.
So my wall wasn't telling me like, hey, go do this. I don't know what I was doing then that day.
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
So I guess another part leads us into the next topic is what's happening at the Lighthouse. What do you guys do weekly? What do you do?
So the way that it looks, we're open Monday through Saturday. We have watchmen, is what we call them. They're prayer warriors. Every hour there's a different man or woman praying. If people walk in anytime freely, they can come in for prayer, or they can just come in to sit and take a breath and just breathe, and there's a lot of peace there. We have a Thursday night service where we have many local pastors or priests come and speak at 7 p.m.
Okay.
Also, people have come from other countries and around the U.S. It's always a different speaker. We love it. We never know what we're going to get. Life is like a box of chocolates, and you never know what you're going to get. So that's a lot of fun. We have a prayer shawl ministry.
That is huge, because last week you had someone from out of town come and speak.
Yes.
So, and a couple of weeks ago you had a big celebration with a few people from out of town.
That was phenomenal. We, in the last 5 years, we've had many people come. And so we invited all from the different places in the world where they've come to speak. And we invited them for our 5-year anniversary. And many of them just came to celebrate with us.
And it was Tony Kim,
Cheryl Allen, Michael Dalton was our specific guest speaker. He brought Jim Bain. They're from Palm Desert. And Devi and Gary Smith, I believe is their last name. And then we had Rob Covell and Bill Burkhart and Michael Hubbard. They're from San Diego.
So special. So many people.
Yes, many. Yeah, so much fun.
So, and it's just so fun to see other people come out and acknowledge what is going on to help the community. So we can go back. The Prayer Shawl Ministry.
Yeah, that's great. So the Prayer Shawl Ministry, again, we just kind of walk along life and let God open the door. And a woman came and said, "Can I start a Prayer Shawl Ministry?" So we have women that come every Tuesday night, 6 to 8 p.m., and they will quilt, knit, or crochet. And these are open to all the community. If somebody's hurting, dying, marriage struggling, we've sent them locally and nationally.
Oh, wow.
Out. So we will mail them as well.
Do they need any donations of like yarn or any items?
Of course, if there's any also yarn material, I'm not the prayer shawl woman.
I was going to say, that is not up my alley. I've tried the whole knit one, purl two, and my poor Mimi. She's like, "Amanda, just give up. I'll do it for you." I'm like, okay.
Well, Kim Simon Hire is our amazing Perkins, our amazing woman that launched that vision. And they would, I'm sure, love all of those items, or Joanne's gift cards,
okay.
So they can go and buy what they need. And it's all free for the community. Everything we do is actually free. There's no charge for anything.
That's amazing. So you can just come and be.
Correct.
Okay.
We've done a lot of counseling, one-on-one counseling. We've had, I don't know if you all know, but during COVID, suicide was up 400%. So we've had a lot of, people that have wanted to commit suicide, marriages struggling, just all over the map, different kinds of needs. And so we do marriage counseling, one-on-one counseling. We're blessed.
How do people get, I'm not even going to wait till the end to tell you how to contact them. How do people get in contact? Is it through Facebook? I know you guys just launched an app.
Correct.
Mobile app, guys. Google Play Store and your Apple Store. Search the Lighthouse and you can download it.
The Lighthouse Ridgecrest, which is great because that's another thing. We've given rides to people that are in need, and we don't charge anything. So we have people call us from around the city that might need a ride. The hospital calls us for a ride home from the ER. And we, the phone number, I'm going to give you the phone number.
Yeah.
I had to look it up because I don't know it by heart. That's because we have these wonderful.
It's okay. We're all human.
760-793-4527.
Okay.
And that's the Lighthouse. You can call or text. But I love that we launched our 5-year anniversary with an app. And you can even request a ride on the app.
That is fantastic. So
that's fun.
They can call to set up counseling appointments to speak, or if they need prayer, they can just go in and see one of the watchmen.
Correct.
5 a.m. start time?
We
What?
generally open about 5 to 6 a.m. Monday through Friday,
Okay.
and we're closed about 8-ish, depending on if we have a watchman, sometimes till 9
Okay.
p.m. And then on Saturdays, it's pretty much from like 8 a.m. to maybe noon.
Okay.
But we're always looking for more watchmen. If you feel led, come.
Yes. Yes.
And our goal has always been 24-hour, 6-day-a-week prayer. We're not open Sunday because we want people to go or not go where they go to church. So.
Okay. So they come, if you guys go check it out, they're at 111 Balsam. See what it's about, speak with the watchman there, and see if you want to be a part of that too.
Yeah,
Right?
so good.
Okay. So a couple other things. Prayer wall. There's a prayer room in there.
So we call it the war room, the prayer room. It's amazing. There are little colorful sticky notes all over, and they really are from all over the world because
It's
of the
humbling.
Oh,
Let me tell you, it's very like, if you have not been to the Lighthouse, I encourage you to go. If you feel led, just go, because that room, man, it takes you down.
well, even
In a good way, it takes you down.
even as you say that, I would say 90 to 95% of the people that come end up leaving in tears in a good way, because you can just feel the power of his presence and peace. And we've had many, we do funerals and weddings as well. And people have come from out of town, and we don't push anything. If they want to know more about us, we'll give them a little tour of the lighthouse, which just expanded to the upper room upstairs. And there was a couple from Pico Rivera that came for a funeral, and they asked if we could just tell them more about this place. And after we gave them the tour, the husband says, I need to have your phone number, because every place in the world should have a prayer house. And so,
Oh, wow, that's powerful.
It was great. I gave him my card, and the next day he called me and he says, yeah, I just pray that there's more prayer houses or lighthouses across the earth. And he sent us a donation for $5,000.
Wow.
Just because he was so touched. And that's another thing. We don't take offering except if we have a guest speaker, but there's always a mailbox in the back of the room that if somebody feels led to give, also on our app online. And it's always amazing to me how, if it's of God, he will provide everything, because he's the God of more than enough, and he's that big.
Right. So the upper room, you touched on that a little bit.
So the upper room, when we moved to this location, the Lord was very specific to say that there will be a day you'll have the whole building.
For those who don't know or kind of know the lay of the land of Ridgecrest, it's the 2-story building on the corner of Balsam and Ridgecrest Boulevard. So the upper room.
And I have to just say this story, because when he told me that, it's been a couple years. We've been there since June of 2017. And last January of 2020, a little portion of it came open. And I went up and I'm like, is this what you would have us to do? Are we ready to rent this? And as I was walking down the stairs, I heard him say, if you build it, they will come and I will provide. So I brought our board up there. We prayed, asked. We decided to secure the place. And a week later, I'm driving down China Lake Boulevard, and there was a woman that called me and just said, is this the lighthouse? And she said her husband was there doing some work in that building, and they haven't really been able to find a church to go to in years. And he said he wanted her to send the tithe to the lighthouse. Well,
Oh, wow.
Our portion was $775 a month for that portion of the upper room, and they send us $725 a month every month.
Wow.
And it's been an amazing, and that's how it's always been.
Shout out to community members and the involvement and the willingness to involve themselves in that.
Absolutely. We couldn't do what we do without everybody. And we've had business owners come in and say, I've just heard that you're doing amazing things, and they'll just write a check. Habitat for Humanity, I was blown away. This was last January as well, and they came and interviewed us, and they wrote us a check for $50,000 and said, keep
Wow.
up the good work. So we know we're only here to serve. We're here to do what others maybe aren't doing. We want to find ways that we can serve where there's a need in our city.
Right.
Cities.
Right. Yeah, I was going to say, I think it expands to the surrounding areas or...
When you asked, there was a sheriff last year that brought in a woman that was in a domestic violence situation, and she needed to get home to Oregon. We were able to get an airline ticket and plane.
Oh,
get a
wow.
plane ride home. So we've bus, train, plane people home before.
Hey, you're reaching everywhere. So another thing is you're expanding grief and loss support.
So excited again. I had prayed, Lord, if you want us to start a kids ministry or grief, bring them. And he has brought them. So there was a woman that came to me and said, I would really like to start a grief support. So that actually is launching tonight, August 3rd.
Okay.
So we are going to...
I'm just going to disclaimer. We are pre-recording this, guys. It's no big deal.
Sorry.
No, don't be sorry.
Okay.
We're again realigning, doing something different, and so it's Tuesday. So
Every other Tuesday. The first night is August 3rd, and it'll be from 6 to 7:30.
Wow, that's a good time frame. So, and then you said kids also.
So Little Lights, we are launching that as well next week at 7 p.m. So we're a couple women have come to me and said that they felt led, and that's the thing with the Lighthouse. We want you to want to do it.
And that's during service?
7 p.m., yes.
Okay.
On Thursday nights.
Full disclaimer, guys. I came before, and I've attended services there, and, at the time, my son was 2 and little, and I was awkward about it because I'm like, oh my gosh, he's being wild and loud and crazy. And I was like, it was one thing that I was like, hey, why isn't there like kids ministry or kids something? And it came about last year, and sadly I had to step back. Life came really fast at me this year, and very thankful that Emily has stepped up, and she will be continuing on and providing for these kids during service. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah. We love that we get to serve, not that we have to.
Or sorry.
So
yeah,
good. No,
it's true.
Great. Yeah.
And I just love the fact because kids get to be nurtured.
Yeah.
When we did a different episode this week for DV Live, and Eric asked me, he's like, what was your favorite thing we've done so far? And I was all, Youth Month, kids. And just seeing life through their eyes is just so crazy. And it's such a reminder to just be like, okay, I got to forgive a little quicker. It's okay to eat the snacks. And I got to laugh a lot more and walk around in the mud.
Totally. And play in the mud. I love that. I love that we really, if we all looked at life through the eyes of children, man, we would all laugh a lot more.
Oh, yeah.
And the Lord says, come to me as little children. So
We would definitely be sneaking cookies a little more.
and forgiving a lot quicker.
Very, very true. Another thing I'd love to touch on is the Pizza Factory Day.
Oh, yes. Actually, that's this Sunday on the 8th.
Okay.
We're so blessed that Pizza Factory, Karen and Stan Dye, we're so thankful for them. They've been involved since the beginning.
Okay.
And they don't only bless us, but they bless the entire community. And so they've always given a portion of a percentage, to many fundraisers here.
Yeah.
And just recently, they said we're going to give 100% of the donations.
Wow.
As long as you say this is for the Lighthouse at Beansters and Pizza Factory. And it's generally every second Sunday of the month unless there's a holiday. So we're
That's
so grateful.
amazing. So this Sunday, the 8th, the day after National Lighthouse Day, at Beansters and Pizza Factory.
Yeah.
Wow. I can get my coffee and my dinner.
That's right. And it's a double blessing for our city. You bless a local business and you bless the Lighthouse. So it's great.
That's amazing. So we're going to touch about recapping some events. So we talked about the 5-year celebration. There was also this little guy who sings little things here not too long ago. You want to talk to us about Eddie James?
Eddie James. So when the Lighthouse first opened, God just put on my heart to bring out musicians, worshipers. And so I'm just going to go back a little bit. So every year we have been able to, except for last year, brought a worshiper to bless our city. And first year was at the fairgrounds. We've done it every year at the fairgrounds. And Jake Hamilton has come a couple of times, Jason Gray and Eddie James. He just came for the second time. What I loved about having Eddie here is that we were really blessed. I mean, Vince Fong and Kevin McCarthy, the hospital, we were blessed to get donations to help bring Eddie here.
Oh, wow.
And Eddie called me last week of June and said, hey, we loved your city and we'd really like to come back and bless your city. And I said, well, what will it cost us? And he says, we just want you to take a love offering. That was huge.
Wow.
So it was impactful and so much fun. So much fun. He brings about 20 people, young people with him that have had also life transformation. And he takes them around the world. And it's really a lot of fun.
I mean, could you imagine, like, what's your job? I get to travel the world and sing and dance and have fun.
So much fun, right? Yeah.
So that's amazing.
Yeah.
And then anything upcoming? Any upcoming events or?
So actually, the last Thursday, I think it's the 28th and 29th of August.
Okay.
Thursday and Friday. There's a man, again, musician, worshiper named David Breimer. He sings a very popular song, Worthy of It All, day and night, night and day. He's coming to our city, and he will be there at the Lighthouse.
Amazing.
So, yeah.
Okay. And I know in the past you guys have done retreats, schooling, things of that nature.
Definitely. We've done 2 rounds of theology school, which we love. And we have a teacher that comes up, Rob Covell from Rancho Cucamonga, and he does every 6 weeks, but you can do it mostly online. And he comes and teaches courses for that.
Will that be happening again this fall?
They're ending in September.
Okay.
So we'll have to see when they start again. I'm not sure yet when they will begin again.
Okay.
So that is something. We've also done different studies. There's a women's Bible study right now on Tuesday mornings at 10, and that's open for anybody. You can just jump right in. Our grief group. I know that we'll be launching again. We had women that dealt with sexual trauma. So we will launch that again in the near future. Men that deal with pornography and lust. We've done those classes. So we're forever asking him to show us exactly what we're supposed to what door we're supposed to walk through and open at that time.
Wow. That's so amazing.
Yeah.
And then I think just the outreach for our community during this time. It's nice to know that there's a place to go.
You know, when the earthquakes happened, that is something that we also did. There was so much going on during that time, as we all know, in our city. And we were able to have people that volunteered to make flower arrangements and amazing bakers and chefs. And we would bless our community with lots of flowers and baked goods and just loved on our city. That's really why we're here, is to love and pray on our city and the people that dwell within Toronto, Ridgecrest, and Inukern specifically, but it branches out even further than that.
So it sounds like whatever your thing is, it can be really brought to the table at the Lighthouse and utilized.
For sure.
So that's amazing.
Yeah.
Like, I also love when you walk in and like you see the painted rocks and stuff. Like something as simple as a rock is utilized. So that's always fun.
Yeah.
Well, Tara, thank you so much for joining today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.
I feel very thankful and blessed just to be a part of what you guys are doing here and living in this city. I love our city.
Yes. And part of the credit union thing is serving the underserved, which you are taking the cake on, like at the Lighthouse. The Lighthouse is encompassing that so much. And everybody there is just helping and breed that and encourage it and love on it. So thank you guys all for being there.
Yeah, we're blessed. It takes a tribe.
Yeah, I was going to say, thank you, everybody, every watchman, every person doing prayer shawls, anyone who's donating to that, donating to the food pantry.
For sure. You can always donate to the food pantry and giving rides. And I mean, we can't do what we do without everyone.
Yeah.
It takes everyone. It takes a village.
Definitely takes a village.
Just like raising children. Raising a city.
It's wild. It's wild. So again, thank you for being here. I'm going to drop a link to the YouTube channel for the city council meeting since this is Wednesday. And that'll start at 6 p.m. So have a great rest of your evening.
Thank you so much. You too.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye. How was that?